once you press it that second time, you should start seeing numbers.
We have numbers rolling.
Numbers are moving. So that means the show is on.
Yep.
So now, this is how you're gonna. You said we should have been taught. You should have been recording during this conversation.
Yeah, because we're talking about bows.
So you wanted to reveal. Isn't your wife gonna now know what your plan is?
No, she doesn't listen. My wife doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, she doesn't.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So, but if your plan is, I mean, you're not. I don't think you're going to. If you're using the bow, you're not going to like the cross. You're going to like the. You might. I don't know. I shouldn't say that, but
what I think is like the bow. Like I said, I'm escalating into firearms. So I start with a bow, and then I get a crossbow.
And your wife doesn't listen to this because the reason you're doing this way is to ease your wife's.
Yeah, I'm tipping
into
my
it
hand.
mentally.
No,
yeah,
you're right.
You're tipping your hand. Your wife's friends would listen to this show.
Well, your wife listens to the show.
No, she doesn't.
Is she not anymore? She figures she totally tuned it out.
Our wives' friends listen to the show.
Who?
Doesn't Betsy listen to
Betsy
the show?
does, but Betsy's not going to rat us out. Betsy, don't rat us out. Who else?
Doesn't Rachel listen to the show?
No, not really. Shane does. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Shane's not
I think
saying
that's
anything.
it. Nobody else. I think
so Betsy's cool?
You know what? I'll roll the dice.
You're going to roll the dice with Betsy?
I'm not shooting animals.
Well, as long as you don't shoot it yet, anyway. I don't know if you have a compound bow in your house and a nice shotgun.
You know what?
You might. It's only a matter of time if you go, Nick, maybe we should go duck hunting.
Yeah, let's go. I'll go in the.
Can
you fit birds. 2 people in the tree stand?
They're just birds.
If we went to Cabela's in Pennsylvania, could I get a cheap tree stand for a couple $100?
Well, you can get Bass Pro is close.
Bass Pro's better.
Okay. Cabela's are the same thing.
Well, have you ever been to that ridiculous Cabela's in Pennsylvania?
No.
There's an island of death where they have one of every animal that somebody killed stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful and horrific at the same time. It's really...
there's an archery shop here in Lakewood, New Jersey.
Okay.
And you walk in there, and I guess I would bet that the owner, judging from my conversations with the guy, I would bet that he bagged the moose that's on display there.
Really?
Yeah. And things big.
But why do I feel like if you went into Lakewood in a bow shop, that there was like some like Hasidic rabbi in there who's stringing bows.
It was fun watching.
He's
walking
like the
past
Jewish,
the Hasidics with my bow. Yeah,
he's like the Jewish Hattori Hanzo.
Yes. He's the guy wasn't Hasidic, but I walked past a couple of Hasidics with my bow.
Yeah.
I didn't have a case yet.
What's Lakewood though?
I didn't have a case for my bow yet, and I didn't. And as I was walking through the streets with a bow in my hand, no arrows knocked, obviously, and I'm walking through, and I'm realizing this isn't a firearm. I know a firearm needs to be cased, locked, ammunition in a separate compartment, or the whole thing for New Jersey. And it just didn't occur. To me, it was, it's just a bow. So I was walking, but as soon as I was out in the open and walking down the street and I looked down at my hand, like people are looking at me, I looked down at my hand. I'm like, I'm walking through the streets with a deadly weapon.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And it didn't occur to me. So when I went to the shop, and the guy was like, no one really cares around here, but, because the shop is here. They figure you're getting it tuned or restrung or something like that.
You should have it in a case.
But he's like, you should have it in a case, you know. But it was fun watching them watch me walking through the streets with a bow.
Did anybody call you Legolas?
Oh, no.
That's a Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah, I was going to say Legolas, but Legolas, yeah.
Legolas.
Hmm. Yeah. No.
It's like
he uses a recurve.
It's like walking through the streets with a claymore strapped across your back.
Actually, does he use a recurve or a traditional? I have to.
I don't know. I wouldn't know the difference. I don't know.
The recurve.
It's a long
bow.
bow.
The tops curve back out, whereas a traditional, it just just a big like this.
I don't know that. Well, I thought
whereas a recurve does this and comes out again.
I thought most real bows, the outside of the bow curved out because it gave you more.
Yeah, that's a typical. That's a recurve bow, like Olympic sport. People hunt with the recurve. That's probably the kind of standard bow.
Mm-hmm.
Then most hunters use compound bows, and then you have some traditional archers who use the traditional bow and arrow, which the bow is a stick that's bent with a string. You know, I don't even think there's sights on those things. They shoot on instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, you know, obviously a lot of martial arts surrounding that. And there's some crazy ass hunters that use that too. So there's people who've gone bear hunting with basically a bent stick and a string.
Well, did you ever hear the story of why the relationship between giving somebody the finger and using a bow?
No.
You never heard that story?
Nope.
The reason was that I think in England there were archers, and when one army would conquer another army, they would take their archers and they would take their bow finger that they used to draw the bow. Is that the middle finger?
A tradition,
traditional bow.
Yeah, a recurve. They probably would use essentially a recurve. Yeah, 3 fingers.
Yeah, and so if they cut off
one over and 2 under.
So
yeah, if you're missing that one, that sucks.
You couldn't really be an archer anymore, right? Especially if that was
not a good one.
Because you think about it, when they would like train people, they were like, "What are you?" Well, I'm strong.
Yeah, no, you actually could not be an archer anymore because this is your arrow. You're either there's only 2 grips. There's either this grip or this grip. Both of them, if you take away the middle finger,
you have half of the pull.
You only have half the grip.
Yeah. So the story goes that they would capture the archers and cut their middle fingers off.
I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
So what would happen would be the other archers would be on the other side, and they would give them the finger to show them that they could still draw a bow.
They could still draw a bow.
Fuck you! I could still fucking fire a bow.
Holy shit,
dude! It's fucking awesome. You know, when you think about it, like that's amazing. And it's a stupid thing that everybody does, but it goes back to archers in medieval times.
I thought it was an American thing.
I'd see it every day on the Jersey Turnpike.
Well, I know, but so I thought that only meant that like in this country.
No, it has come here from overseas, from way back. Like I said, from medieval times, which was basically fuck you, fuck you. You can't mess with me. I still got my middle finger.
Very fascinating.
I can still fucking fire a bow.
I had no idea.
Allegedly. But whatever. We'll never, the world may never know.
So Sunday I'm going to practice with my stand.
What do you mean practice?
If you want to come.
What are you going to do?
Well, I have a new tree stand, so I have to get used to it. So I'm going to I have trees over here, so I'm going to climb some trees with it.
And set the stand up.
Yeah. And get in it. I mean, throw my kids up there, maybe.
I thought you were going to actually
I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm going to start like maybe a couple of feet off the ground with this stand. But I have the sticks. I'm going to practice with the sticks, and the sticks I'm going to climb up.
To get ready to create your sniper tower.
Yeah, I guess it's I don't want to say it's cheating, but it's a common form of hunting. You either stalk, or you sit in a tree stand, or you drive. Those are the 3 essentially.
Driving,
at least that's the night.
Driving seems very unsporting from the way you did, and you described that on one of our episodes. Driving, which was just like
lines of, felt a little weird. Yeah.
Lines of people, and you almost got shot.
Yeah, there was some BBs flying over my head.
I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And then I think the tree stand is kind of like ambush, like with the feeder. If you do a stand and a feeder,
you can't do that.
It's hardly fair.
That's illegal in Jersey.
It is.
You can't shoot over bait. Yeah. So you can't bait. But in some states you can. And those are states that have too many of whatever animal you're allowed to do that for.
Yeah.
But that one time we went on that drive, it was a little harrowing.
Yeah.
It felt a little strange, but I think we had a lot of guys, and usually you don't have that many guys.
Yeah.
But that's why we were so effective. But like I said, if you were, if you sent us back 100, 200 years, that's the only way to hunt.
Well, I mean, but
that's the only way to hunt.
But back then you needed the
right.
food, so being efficient. Wait,
time out. We still need food.
Yeah, but you could go to the grocery store and buy the same fucking thing.
Right, but that's which one?
Or even something better.
All right, so what's more like ethical? I don't want to throw the air quotes at you again, but like rounding up. Animal husbandry where they everyone's lined up in a pen,
or you're culling a herd of animals that are overpopulated anyway. So ethics, I think, are thrown out the window because it's necessary. But I think there's also like I don't know. I feel like maybe it would be different if I'm out there going hunting for 3 days and coming back with nothing.
Right, which happens. What?
And then you're just like, I want to get a win here. I need to get a fucking win under my belt.
Well, you want to get some meat and put it in the freezer.
Yeah, well, because so either you have to be happy with the time that you spend out, or it needs to be about getting, a corpse to bring back.
I'll have you know that this year, I think I ate maybe a handful of times, less than a handful of times, that I ate red meat that I didn't kill myself.
No, I mean I think that is.
And I have some sausage left, and that's it. And I'm going to smoke it. Oh, maybe on Halloween.
Oh, well,
maybe for the. I don't know if you're.
That's a lot of work for you guys. We talked about that, but well,
I throw it in the smoker, turn it on. It's
okay.
Good.
No, I would love to have your venison.
I didn't make this. I didn't make the sausage. So the butcher did. And he made them Italian style with fennel, which was a little odd choice. I wouldn't have put fennel.
Maybe because he knew you're from Brooklyn.
I don't know.
He was like,
and I was up north on Route 9, which is close to I'm starting to get where, I was a stone's throw from Pastoza.
I mean, if somebody's asking for sausage, they're probably
no. The sausage was part of the package. You'd order different packages. His hot sticks, which were like Slim Jims, those things were some of the best stuff. I flew through those.
Yeah,
and everyone I gave them.
Yeah, you gave me a bunch too, and they were good.
You ate them. You liked it. Yeah, I mean I brought them to work, and everyone ate those. Just ate them all. They're just gone.
Yeah, we're good.
Then I had jerky. Jerky came with it, but that was too dry. And then I had the sausage. And the sausage was the rest were regular cuts, chopped meat and steaks and roasts. But the sausage I thought was going to be sausage I could smoke.
Yeah.
And maybe I can smoke sauce, but it had this Italian. I probably could.
I mean, sauce would probably be fantastic. And venison's got to be oily, nice oily meat.
No,
not really. It's lean.
No, venison's lean.
Oh,
maybe I should throw it in sauce.
Make sausage and peppers.
Sausage and peppers, yeah.
Make a nice sausage and pepper sandwich.
Sausage and peppers.
Sausage and peppers.
In a tray.
Yeah,
and bake it. Maybe
Make
I should
yourself a tray of sausage and peppers.
Maybe I'll do that on after trunk or treat. That's even easier.
Yeah, do it.
Because I just fill those pans with sausage and peppers and onions.
And you get some
I stick it in the oven.
Nice rolls, nice
and
bread.
some nice bread.
Yeah, that's all you got to do, dude. Easy peasy.
And then just don't tell anybody it's venison? I mean, Betsy will know.
Would she? Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see. This episode won't be out for a month or something.
No, really?
So it'd be a hand grenade, I hate venison. I don't think she'll care, but
is it? Is it a month from now?
Well, you were talking about every other week, right? So we got one show we just recorded that will have to go out, and then 2 weeks later this will go out.
Does that count? That was like a half a show.
See, you're too generous. You got to space these.
No, that was like a half a show to just let people know what's going on.
Okay, so you do 2 in a row.
I think as of this show, it would be every other week.
Okay. Well,
so potentially you're right.
You know the rules. So should we talk a retrospective? I mean, we started this. It was probably just about a year ago, right? When did we start this? Was it in November or October?
It was that long ago?
It's been about a year, yeah. I mean, I think this is episode 40.
No.
Yeah. Is it 40?
Holy shit. Really?
I don't know. Let me look.
I don't know.
It's close. We're very close. But I think we're about a year into this exploration.
I think maybe you're right.
I mean, I want to say it was right around now. It was October. I remember talking about the Yankees, October.
Yes.
The Red Sox game.
Mm-hmm.
That was all.
Yes, that's true. That's true. You went to that playoff game and they got routed.
God, yeah. Thank you.
I went to the A's game and they won.
Yeah. So no, sorry. This will be episode 36. So we're not even.
Well,
at
no,
episode
wait. You counted the role playing game that comes out next.
That would be 35. Yep.
That one's 35. This is 36.
This would be episode 36. Yeah. I thought we'd be further along.
We missed many. Well, when we first started, we were every other week.
Yes.
And then we missed weeks then too. We miss a lot of shows.
Yeah.
It's not easy being, having a young family and having demanding jobs, and coordinating. Like even if you had, a couple of free Fridays and I had a couple of free Fridays, it's just, do they line up?
No, no, you're right. It's 100%. And there are just some times where we're like, we want to hang out and not record it, which I have a problem.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that like I can't hang out with you unless there's a fucking microphone in my face.
You feel like I don't like you if we're not recording it.
No, yeah. Oh, you don't want to talk to me either. You're like, oh, we should be recording this. I'm like,
people think this is gold. There are certain people
who.
So let me give you some feedback. Some people have said,
"Can I welcome some countries too when you're done?"
Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, welcome to countries. I want to know where our listeners are.
They probably don't listen anymore, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, so somebody has said they really enjoy listening to this because it's like listening to a private conversation. That's a feedback.
That sounds insulting, actually.
Well, is it though?
I'm just kidding.
It shows that we have an intimacy with one another.
Yes. Well, after we cried last one.
And there was some filleting. It was like light filleting.
All right, so can I welcome Switzerland?
Oh, jeez. Yes, please.
Portugal,
yeah, we're big with the Portuguese.
Brazil,
my Brazilian friends,
and the Czech Republic.
Oh yeah,
the Czech Republic.
I'm huge in.
We have some homies in the Republic.
Yeah,
listening to us.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
You know what we're going to do on Halloween, dude? I got something special that I brewed. Did I tell you that I made my own, oh, God damn it. What, the Green Fairy? What's it called? The Green Fairy?
What?
The drink.
Green Dragon?
No, the Green Fairy, the alcohol. It's called,
You put the weed in the jar and you cover it with alcohol?
Absinthe.
Oh, absinthe.
I have absinthe that I made. And we should do that on Halloween. And we'll
do what?
We'll drink absinthe.
Homemade absinthe?
I have it. Yeah, it's a Green Fairy.
You bring the Green Fairy. I'll bring the Green Dragon.
Okay, cool. Who's the Green Dragon? Is that Smog? Who is that?
I'm not kidding. Well, Green Dragon exists.
Mm-hmm.
Green Dragon is marijuana.
Oh, Jesus!
And covered in alcohol. It's like a tincture.
Oh, okay.
It's called Green Dragon.
Let's do them both. Just to be sure.
Green Dragon and the Green Fairy together would be what?
The Green Nightmare. I think so.
Would be interesting.
We'll call that episode the Green Nightmare. Yeah. It'll be a 13-hour episode of Nick tripping.
Apparently, the alcohol activates the THC.
Okay. So let's do that then. Absolutely.
Yeah. What were we talking about? You trying to get firearms in your house?
Yeah, well, I wasn't. I'm not trying to get firearms in my house.
Well, isn't that what you said?
What? No, I didn't say that.
You were trying to.
I want to get a bow to shoot targets with my kids.
Yeah, I think archery is a great sport.
Yeah.
Are we recording? Okay. It's a great. See how you see?
I looked.
You did look.
Don't worry. I got my eyes.
That's
on
it. All right. At least you're looking.
I've got my eyes.
I think that it's a great sport. I think it requires a lot of concentration. It requires a lot of practice. It requires like some engineering to it. What I like about archery, and I think you're going to like about this is what I think you're going to like about it, because you're a little bit like me. I think in this regard, to try and get that bullseye, there are many factors, right? And to get that bullseye consistently, there are even a few more factors.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is to try and get that bullseye, you go through each of those factors. Your draw length, the draw weight, the arrow, the length of the arrow, the stiffness of the arrow, the position of your sight, the position of the peep, the position of and you could just keep the cams and the adjustment of the you could just keep going.
Yeah, well,
going,
eventually you get the environment.
And part of it is you. Like you could be missing the thing consistently left. And the beauty of archery is it going consistently left because you the way you're doing it, or is it the spine of the arrow too soft?
Mm.
And when it comes, because if you ever watch an arrow in slow motion come off of
it vibrates.
It bends, completely bends off the, and to the point where it'll even hit the riser. That's how much it'll bend. So you want the proper stiffness given the amount of speed that string is moving forward.
I'm fascinated with the engineering of the arrow, like the arrowhead. Like before you had a broadhead arrow, but now you have those
mechanicals,
those triangle arrows where you have, the two arrowheads, consecutive.
Yeah, those are broadheads too. That's a type of a broadhead too.
Yeah. And the fletching and stuff.
Then the mechanical broadheads, they look like a field point, which is just a regular point, so it flies a certain way. it flies just like a regular field point. So you would be practicing with your field point arrows and then grab a mechanical broadhead and then practice with those. You don't want to practice with those too much because the targets, will get shredded up by a broadhead. So
because every time you pull it out, you're going to
and you could potentially be ruining anything. So if you can get a broadhead that shoots like a field point, so a mechanical is both. It's a field point, but when it hits the quote unquote meat, it pops open into a broadhead. And then it spins into the animal.
That's the engineering of
causes
the engineering of death.
All sorts of
How can we make a bullet that does?
I mean, they have broadheads called hypodermic.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
So that it's based on blood loss.
No, we went into that Cabela for work. I went out to Hershey to look at this consumer engagement center they created for Hershey, and then on the way back for lunch, we stopped at the Cabela and we went in there, and there was a whole section where they were sniping these coyotes with these rounds that were just fucking lethal, dude. And I felt bad.
What do you mean?
They were showing videos.
Showing videos.
Showing videos of them with a bipod and some 50 caliber rifle just sniping.
50 caliber rifle.
It was gigantic, dude. They were sniping the shit out of these coyotes. And I felt bad for the coyotes because
coyotes are bad, though.
They were like, oh yeah, I'm just here. Boom.
Coyotes are bad.
And they were fucking them up, dude.
Coyotes are bad.
With these detaching sabot rounds, where shit flies in and makes mincemeat of their fucking innards.
Do you ever see videos of the coyotes like dragging baby deer and like eating them like head first, or eating their ass first?
But that doesn't,
like little baby deers like laying on the ground, helpless while they're being eaten to death.
But that's
coyotes.
Darwinism, no, dude. That doesn't bother me.
So is
survival of the fittest.
So is shooting them.
No, you're talking about apex predator stuff.
What do you mean?
We are the apex predator,
right?
Well,
coyotes are just not. They're not good.
They're not, but they're the sharks of the land, right? Like wolves are. They prey on the weak.
They're not sharks of the land because they
gang up on things.
No, that's not the reason. I think that the way they replicate much faster than sharks.
Okay.
Like you kill two of them and then there's four that take their place. It's like you can never. You can never kill enough coyotes, is what I'm trying to say.
No, well, it's like any population, you need to call them. But...
Well, I mean, I don't want to say I'm kidding. I'm a little, part of me isn't.
I only felt bad because the coyote was like, I'm walking along. Oh, look, I'm walking along. Oh, what a lovely night. Oh, look, there's the moon. Oh, look, there's a star. Oh, look, there's some meat. Boom. Oh, look, I'm fucking dead.
No, coyotes are freaking vicious animals. A coyote will snap your baby from your arms. If you're walking with a baby, you're walking with like a 1-year-old that could walk. A coyote will snap it by its legs and run away with it.
So will a Rottweiler. Anything that's small animal aggressive.
I don't know. I mean, you have to teach a Rottweiler to do that.
The coyote, if they sense that you are strong, they're not going to attack your young that are with you. They're not going to. They're opportunistic. They're like dingoes.
Try and put some chickens in your yard and try and get some fresh eggs.
That's different. Chickens never fuck nobody up.
And coyotes will just destroy every chicken.
No, foxes too.
And foxes and wolves.
Yeah. But then once again, birds though are not. I mean, there are some birds that are apex. Dude, did I tell you this story?
No.
So I went. We had a. This is a good story. This is a hashtag millstone problem story. Okay. So we show up at.
Now everyone knows where you live.
That's fine. This is a couple of weeks ago, and we had the Friday night game away, and then we had an early night game. Her early game home. So I go home. We go home, and we're getting the field ready. We got pushed all the way to the softball field, and nobody's fucking plowed the softball field for weeks. It's bad. So we're trying to get the machine out there. I'm out there with a rake.
What do you mean, it's lumpy?
It's lumpy, yeah. So actually, no, it wasn't the softball field. This was the week before that. But and we're getting the field ready. We're playing your team. Bill shows up. We're raking the field, and the boys are like, "Dad, there's all these dead birds in the batting cage. There's all these dead birds in the batting cage." Blah blah. I'm like, whatever. There's like the 5-year-olds. I'm like, whatever. They're like, and then this one big bird, and he's killing the other birds. And I'm like, whatever. So I go over there. My wife's over there, and she's like, yeah, there's
one of those hawks.
There's a hawk in the batting cage. There's a hawk and 5 pigeons in the batting cage.
Eating the pigeons.
Well, 3 of them were still alive, and 2 of them were finito. They were decapitated. But hanging from the top of the batting cage is A fucking hawk, dude. I walked right up on it, and it was vicious looking, dude. It was like
No, I think it'll poke your eyes out.
pointed beak, the vicious talons,
Covered in blood.
and dude, it
Covered in blood.
it had eviscerated these pigeons, dude, in there. Like, thank God the pigeons were there because so I had to trice up the net and try to chase it out, and we got it out of there. And I freed the pigeons too, because that was like, oh, you got to free the pigeons first before the hawk. But it was like, so then I go over to Bill, and I'm like, Bill, it's like a fucking hawk and a bunch of pigeons in the batting cage. He goes, that's nothing. I had to let a deer out of there. Like, what? Like, how do you one-up me with a deer? He goes, oh, there was a deer in there, and it was stupid. The deer, he goes, it's dumb as hell. It just kept running around. He goes, I tried to lift the net up, and it got hooked in the net when it ran out, and it goes, almost ripped my fingers off my hands.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
we do live in the woods.
but I'm like, how did it get in there?
Deer are dumb.
They are, and so are birds. But I'm like, how did all of those birds end up in the batting cage?
But yeah, they go after the vulnerable and the weak and the young, and they eat them alive.
Yeah, and that's what they do. Yeah,
Yeah, coyotes, hawks, wolves.
Yeah,
This is
lions,
what they do. Lions, yeah, mountain lions. Yeah. This is what they do. Snow leopards.
This is Darwinism at its finest, right? The survival of the fittest. This is.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying that, when we anthropomorphize these animals, these coyotes, like, oh, you're the cute little dog. No, it's not.
Oh no, because you think it's a fucking dog. It's not a dog.
It looks a little bit like a dog, but it's
of the canine family, but it's not.
No. So when I see a coyote go down, I don't feel the same way as if I saw a dog go down.
No, I didn't shed any tears. I felt bad because the coyote had no fucking idea that it was coming.
Well, that's even better.
It is, but it wasn't a clean kill. It was like, brr, brr. I'm like, oh, that coyote's fucked up, dude. It wasn't a clean hit. Like, if you take him down,
I'm not hunting that long, but to me, and I think the goal of most hunters is, I think I would hope anyway, is to try and make it as quick and painless as possible.
I don't know.
It's better to die by me than either by nature of starvation or some other predator out there that's going to eat you alive.
I think there are too many assholes who just want to kill stuff. I think
there are some
there's a
people
part of
like
that population that do that.
I remember growing up in Brooklyn, the people who would like try and kill ants with magnifying lenses, those people. Yeah, I never understood that. I'm like, well, why? Why are you doing that? Mm-hmm. It never made sense to me. But, we drive here all the time and there's just dead deer all over the sides of the road.
No, that's
things that were hit by cars and they're hobbling and they slowly die of a fever on the side of the road. And then what happens? They get spray painted and then the state picks them up and then they throw them in a dumpster somewhere,
Well, there's always that conversation on the Facebook page of like, can I go get the deer? Can I go pick it up? Will they let me take it?
Yeah, they have that.
Yeah, leave it alone.
No, you can get a road permit. You can get a roadkill permit and then you can pick it up and eat it. And it's good. As long as it's not too old, obviously.
No, I respect the people that respect nature and, like you said, they're going to eat what they kill. I'm like, I'm cool with all that. There's too many people that are posting pictures online of them with the fucking elephant that they killed. Like, I paid $6,000 to kill this fucking elephant.
Yeah.
And we ambushed the fucking elephant at a watering hole or something.
Yeah, that's a little, yeah.
Animals are better.
Even a lot of the, those lion hunts and stuff. And I felt that way too. It's like, you look at this jerk. And then you look into it, right? You try and go beyond the initial photo and you start to look into, all right, this town that's selling these experiences to kill these lions. And what happens is the town makes money from the hunters and they're regulating the population of the lions in the vicinity. And what happens is the town is now vested in keeping healthy numbers of lions in the town so that they could have these experiences for the hunters. And the second the hunters leave and stop doing it, then all those lions become pests and are treated as pests and are eradicated.
Yeah.
So by the mere by there being a market for someone who wants to go hunt that animal, the animal is conserved on that landscape. So it's like a, it's like I said on many shows, it's never black and white. It's always a million shades of gray.
As we get older, that's the one thing you realize. When you're young and you're idealistic, you feel the world is always black and white. But as you get older and you develop, you realize the truth of the matter is
so much gray.
It's all shades of gray. There's no good and there's no bad. Everybody's the hero of their own story.
Yeah.
And to be truthful, that's almost a symbiotic relationship for those lions. Because they live a pretty good life.
No, but I mean, imagine you're some tribesman who lives in that town and there's freaking lions around. You see one, what are you going to do? You're going to fucking kill it.
But to them, that's a natural resource.
Well, they're going to kill it, but they're going to kill it.
Yeah.
They're going to kill it because it's killing their babies.
It's a predator, yeah.
It's a predator. It's killing them. It's killing their babies. It's eating their food. It's eating their livestock. It's get rid of these fucking lions. Yeah. But all right, so we're getting rid of the lions, but hey, wait a minute. We could charge somebody who'll come here and also get rid of the lions, and then we don't kill too many lions now, and then all of a sudden you're regulating how many lions you're killing, so that the death of that one lion probably saves 6, 7, 8 other lions.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I mean, not maybe, it does.
No.
And then, even here in New Jersey, with the damn black bear, I don't know, it's turned into a hunting episode. Mm-hmm. This became Meat Eater. Get Steve Rinella on here. We're going to
call this episode The Most Dangerous Game.
The Most Dangerous Game. All right, let's change the subject. Let's talk about, did I welcome the people on?
You did. You welcomed all the countries.
Okay.
You said you had an announcement. What's your announcement?
No, I was joking around.
Oh, okay.
Well, I am.
I thought you were going to come out of the closet or something.
So did you know that Monsanto?
Who?
I'm reading a freaking a note that's probably a year old. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my podcast notes. I think. Oh yeah, it is almost January 7th, 2019. is the date mark on this. Monsanto paid Sir Richard Dahl, the renowned British scientist.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard Sir Richard Dahl?
Not 100. I mean, it sounds familiar. Yeah.
He sounds familiar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
They paid him. He came out around like the Vietnam era. He said Agent Orange isn't linked to cancer.
Okay. He died of cancer?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe. That's not here in the notes.
Okay.
I gotta look it up. But he was paid by Monsanto $1,500 a day for 20 years. Monsanto makes Agent Orange.
Oh, Jesus. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw there's that note. Speaking of shades,
wait.
of gray.
Where the fuck did it go?
Then I have Asteroid 1998 OR2, April 2020, which passed. So no, it didn't pass. It's coming.
Yeah.
So it is a Earth-ending asteroid.
It's coming at us.
And it's going to skim past us on April 2020.
What does skim mean? How close? Upper atmosphere?
No, it's not going to burn. There's going to be no burn. But it's going to be close. It's going to be skipping through us, and it's Earth-ending size. But it's not. The Earth isn't going to end. But I remember pulling it when we were doing our list.
Oh, we were doing the list, yeah.
And this was an example. We had asteroid pretty high up on the list, and here it is, April 2020. And within a year of us talking about it, there's an Earth-ending atmosphere.
The interesting thing is, for that being high on our list is interesting because when you think about it, the vastness of space from a...
Well, then I think it was because you argue that all the time. There's too much space.
Yeah, the space is vast. Nope. If you do mathematical equation, it would be... The chances of that would be astronomical. Not that it couldn't ever happen, because in fact what they theorize is the dinosaurs became extinct because something like that happened. Yeah. So if it happened, then the chances of it happening again would be equally astronomical, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but what was that, like 10 million years ago?
Yeah, but what are the odds of an asteroid hitting
each year?
Single
Slim.
body?
Over 10 million years?
I don't know.
If it's been 10 million years since the last one?
If anybody's done the math, can they let us know what the odds are on that?
Well, NASA's got a whole division now for this purpose. I mean, those are a bunch of freaking rocket scientists.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Yeah, but then they have to be doing it for a reason. They're not just sitting there just.
I mean, you would hope
filleting each other.
I mean, they're watching, but this goes back to, and I made the joke. But what happens if they see this thing coming? Do they get Bruce Willis and a rocket together?
Well, as of now, we do nothing. Right now, you put our heads between our legs and kiss our ass goodbye.
But do they try to launch a nuclear warhead at it?
Well, no, they say that's a bad idea because because it turns one huge asteroid into like 10 or 20 asteroids.
Or if you could split it down the middle, wouldn't it make
you can't control how it's going to split. As of now, we don't have anything.
So what are we doing? We're just
you send Bruce Willis and potentially, hopefully Matthew McConaughey.
And what about Ben Affleck? He's there too.
Yeah, you gotta throw him.
Yeah,
in
get him in there.
Put him in the fucking Batman.
Steve Buscemi is one of the guys.
But by the way, I saw 10 minutes of that. And I couldn't even watch 10 minutes.
Batman versus Superman?
I couldn't even watch 10 minutes of it. I was watching Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck have a conversation with each other. And it was supposed to, it seemed like it was supposed to be this dramatic scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh my God, he doesn't fit in that suit. That suit looks stupid. He doesn't sound right. He doesn't look right. The whole thing just was like, I have to change this right away. And Lisa was like, oh my God, what's like, we were just watching it going, I don't know what it was. I mean, I've watched Iron Man talk to Spider-Man and not felt that way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and they're dressed equally ridiculous, but if for some reason it was like, oh, this is fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it was. Was it the lighting? Was it the acting? Was it I don't know what it was, but just watching it didn't seem his haircut. Like, I don't see Batman having that haircut.
You're going that personal. Huh?
No, I mean,
yeah.
Did you see his haircut? He had that like he had like that you know, the Cure 90s goth sweep. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy from the Cure.
Yeah, Robert Smith.
Yes, thank you very much. Couldn't think of his name. He had his haircut. You know, and I at least Christian Bale, like he had the the sides of his hair like trim and short to his head, so he could put something military on himself.
Yeah.
Whereas he looked like he was trying to, like he needed a cigarette in his mouth and some black mascara.
There's a scene in that.
That's what he looked like.
And I don't think you got to that, but there's a scene in that where basically it turns into a Rocky movie. Where Batman is training like Rocky to fight Superman.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank God I didn't see that.
And you're like, oh, shit.
I mean, he looked like he stepped out of Hot Topic.
Well, that's Ben Affleck in general. But you know, here's the thing with Batman. I don't think, and I love Batman.
I love Batman,
yeah, too. And
did you see the Joker yet?
I did, yes, and I want to talk about that.
I didn't see the Joker.
I was going to.
I've seen a lot of memes of him getting run over by cabs and stuff.
Okay.
And a lot of funny stuff, but I want to see it. I haven't seen it.
I'll talk about it here in a minute, but
don't ruin it for me.
No, I'm not going to spoil it.
Well, first of all, and also you said you were going to. We should go see it together.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
This is part of you ghosting me.
No,
because that was weeks ago. How come you didn't tell me you were going?
Here's the problem. Because it happened. I went literally.
Because you couldn't have gone with your kids. It's rated R.
No, and a Friday in the middle of the day when I was working from home.
We could have been recording.
When I was working from home.
Oh, wait a minute.
See, that's a problem.
Wait, don't admit this on the air. You telling me you skipped work?
I did. I left work. But I worked the whole time from the fucking movie theater. But I've done it before for certain things that I can't bring my kids to. And I go on a Friday, and I'm like, I would invite you. I'm like, Nick cannot come to this.
I'm not only in Brooklyn.
And I almost thought it would be more painful for me to tell you, like I'm rubbing your nose
I'm sitting
in
at my desk. Yeah.
I'm like, hey, fuckface, I'm going to see Joker. Go fuck your mother.
Right. I'm getting paid to sit in this movie theater.
Yeah, exactly. And even though I worked the whole time, but so I did. So you could say ghosting, and me is like
you didn't work
emotionally scaring you.
You couldn't have worked the whole
dude. I was getting pinged the whole fucking time. I'm like, this is fucking bullshit, dude.
This is bullshit.
Can't sneak away for 2 goddamn hours.
I'm trying to watch the Joker.
Yeah, please stop fucking with my good time here.
But this is such bullshit.
But so back to Batman really quick before we talk about the Joker, and I want to talk about the Joker, but so this is a good segue. the thing about Batman is he's so deadpan. He has no personality. There's always a question about any Batman. The real Batman is like the question that you have when Batman is like, is Bruce Wayne the alter ego for Batman, or is Batman the alter ego for Bruce Wayne? Because you have this kid who's fucked up and who wants vengeance on all criminals.
He's a vigilante,
and he is a vigilante. And the theory that I always like, the psychology that I always like, is that Batman is the real person. That's who Bruce Wayne is.
Yes,
and Bruce Wayne that he puts on
the show
is the show. Yeah, yes. He's the fake person. Right?
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, that's the way it is.
And I love that. I eat that up. And if you do that, Batman always plays better as a supporting person. He's like kind of like he's the ultimate hero, but he plays better as a not leading role because he's so deadpan. Like he's so focused on vengeance that he doesn't have time for jokes. He doesn't crack jokes. There's no levity. He's like he's like the Punisher on a fucking war against crime constantly.
Right. Yeah,
right?
Nothing wrong with that though. Why can't he be a lead?
But I think the lead sometimes needs to take you on a little bit of a dance, I think. And Batman's not that person. So I think
Batman doesn't take
he's kind of like, I'm Batman, I'm going to fucking punch you in the face and I'm going to fucking vengeance, and that's Batman, right? And the other people around him are who make Batman interesting, not necessarily Batman, you know?
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm okay with that. And I think he's better. Just sprinkle him in.
Like V for Vendetta. Right. Like just he was singularly focused, but what made the movie interesting was the girl. Yeah.
Well, no, yeah, because she was the thing that changed. She changed his. Yeah, she changed.
She changed him eventually.
Eventually, yeah. But
so does what's her face in a lot of in 3-4 Batman movies that Christian Bale was in.
Oh, Catwoman? No.
That was her name.
A girl?
Yeah.
In all 3 Batman movies?
Wasn't she in all 3?
No, I mean the Talia al Ghul was in the last one.
Talia,
what Ra's al Ghul in Dark Knight Rises? Dark Knight.
The one with Bane?
Bane, yes.
Right. In that one, she kind of changes him a little bit. She makes him give it up.
Yeah, and she kind of fucks with him too. It's like a part of her vengeance ploy. But yeah, she makes him feel like he can have that, right?
Right.
And ironically enough, if you go through the comics, she gives him a child who eventually becomes Robin and gives him that again, and then he loses that again. Like, that's a great thing. There's just such a tragedy to that character. He's like, he lost his mother, he lost his father, so then he gets Robin, and Robin is like his kid, right? He has this opportunity to raise this kid who also has no parents and has no family, and Dick Grayson moves on to be something else, and they don't get along. So he gets another Robin, right? And he's constantly failing because he has no father figure, because his father passed when he was so very young.
Right.
Like, that character is so fucking flawed, like, in every way.
Right, but that's why I think he's a good main character.
It's why he is. And it's why you have people that are the Superman. It's interesting with my boys, because I have one of my boys who's a Superman fan, and I have another boy who's a Batman fan. And they are exactly the opposites. It's like, this one's so brooding and so quiet and so moody, and like, and the other one is so like, you know, the Nietzschean Superman, like, I'm the Superman, you know, and you're like, you adopt all those things, and I can't relate.
But that's the younger one.
It is, right? He's the golden boy. He's got the blue eyes, and he's
the more Well, when you're younger, you're a little more pure of heart. You're a little more Superman-like.
This is true, and his grandfather pushes.
When he gets older, when he gets older, he'll
maybe, but you like that idea that
Superman is a young kid's superhero.
He's the ideal, the ultimate human ideal. Meanwhile, though, he's not human, though, right? He's from another planet. He's a fucking alien,
exactly.
Right? Yeah. And to your point, we talked about the boys. What's gonna stop Superman from doing some fucked up? Nothing.
Zero.
No one can.
Right.
You know. So there's a world where Lex Luthor is a good guy, because he's like, there's this fucking Superman guy who's like trying to impose his will on our fucking planet, right? So, but I always like, Batman's a regular guy, right? He made himself who he is. He's flawed.
Well,
he's far from perfect.
He's not a regular guy.
And he knows he's not perfect.
He's not a regular guy. Well,
no.
Well, yeah, no, he's not a regular guy. He was born into extreme wealth.
Yeah.
He's got this massive technology at his disposal.
Yeah, this is true.
But he was a normal boy.
Yeah.
when it happened. Yeah. But I mean, that's why I think he's a great character. But to your point, yeah, is what makes him a better main character is when you surround him with these other things.
Yeah, because Dick Grayson is like his humanity, right? Even when he becomes Nightwing and he's not Robin anymore and he's his own person. There was even a point where Dick Grayson was Batman when Batman disappeared, or when Bane broke Batman's back in the comics, and Dick Grayson was Batman.
Yeah,
he's like, we need there to be a Batman. There was even this whole idea of Batman Incorporated. Like, there needs to be a fucking Batman in every city because we need this.
We need
this.
Batman.
Yeah, no matter what. And
which is kind of true.
No, and it was cool, yeah. And so it was a lot of good stuff. So I saw The Joker.
Right.
It's an intense movie. Like it's I mean, you're literally watching someone lose their fucking mind.
And that's a legitimate disease.
What? Oh, the neural. So that's the most interesting part is they take this idea of the Joker, and the Joker always said that he felt like his life wasn't black and white, that his life was multiple choice, right? There was no single answer for the Joker. So if somebody took the Joker and said, under a realistic situation, how can I make somebody be the Joker? They do a really good job of explaining it. It's very dark. It's very well shot and directed. It's very well acted. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix is amazing.
Okay, so
and painful to watch, and uncomfortable to watch, painful to watch.
Yeah, the trailers looked uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, he's painfully thin, dude. Like he's painfully thin, like unnaturally thin.
The machine is thin.
It's right there, dude. It's
really?
Very close. You just see he looks like he's withering away on the screen in front of you, and Gotham is in this really dark time, and they do a really good job of it, and I don't, I'm okay with it. Like it's a standalone character experiment of the Joker.
Yeah,
and they do it's really well shot. I mean, and there's a whole very strong King of Comedy aspect to it, literally to the point that like, oh yeah, thumbs up, 100%. It's worth watching. I don't know if it's something I could watch like a million times.
Ooh,
because it's
disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
Nice.
That
makes you want to see it more.
It's literally the idea that anybody could have a day that's bad enough that could literally drive them mad. It's like falling down. It's like falling down. Yeah. Anybody could have a bad day that
he was right through the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, when he blew up that fucking road construction, I was completely with him. I was like, why is this guy bad?
That's a great movie. It's like a guy who's like, and the funny thing is
tell me there's nothing wrong with this road. The guy's like,
I have to watch it again. I own that movie and I haven't watched it.
And then he blows it up. He's like, now there is.
We should do a watch along with that, dude. I haven't done that in
fucking
forever.
movie's great.
Michael Douglas in that is amazing.
Yeah.
So the one thing people say, oh, this is going to encourage people to shoot up. They talk about the whole Aurora thing, and I said, you know what?
Wait, what's the Aurora thing?
They were like, oh well, the school shooters, and the guy said he thought he was the Joker or whatever, and I said, you know what? Anybody who said that this movie shouldn't be shown in Aurora because of what happened should watch it, because I think the idea is the person that's the Joker is a person who's pushed around by society. He's alienated by society. Mm-hmm. He's left out. Mm-hmm. He's made to feel lesser. And when a person is put in that position and they feel like they have nothing to fucking lose, this is when we have this shit happening. And I go, the people that have been affected by this should watch this, because this kind of explains why people are put in that position where they feel like, I have nothing to lose. I'm out. I'm an outsider anyways. And once again, I'm not condoning people that do it, but it helps you kind of understand.
Part of it. What you're saying, as society as a whole has to take some responsibility for creating that.
Yeah. If we alienate people, if we
South Park Mexican Joker.
I don't know if I saw that.
You didn't see Mexican Joker?
No.
Yeah, look it up. It's good.
I'll have to watch Mexican Joker. That's great.
Yeah.
But It's really good. It's very disturbing. It's super violent. There's zero way any kids could watch that and not be affected by it in a negative way. I have to go see it and spend my hard-earned money simply because they had the balls to make a rated-R movie. Dude, I mean,
the reason that every movie's PG-13 is because when they make a rated-R movie, people like us, we don't go spend our money and go.
I mean, I almost respect that more, and I didn't think like they made it rated R to be exploitative. I think they were like, this is the story we want to tell, and you guys rate it how you want to rate it. And he reaches a point. And it's almost like Joaquin Phoenix is playing like 3 or 4 different characters through the movies because he has very different personalities at different times. And at times, you see it. But like it looks a ton like a Scorsese movie. Like there's a soundtrack there. A classic rock or a classic musical soundtrack at times that drives it. It's very visually disturbing in addition to like other parts of it.
I gotta see it.
No, and I'll go. I might go see it if you want to go see it again.
When I go see it, I'm not gonna fucking tell you I'm going.
That's fine. That would be fair. But if you want company, I'll go with you because I would go see it again. It was. I didn't expect it to be like a feel-good movie, and it wasn't.
No Joker movie's gonna be a feel-good movie.
But you walk out and you go, okay, I mean, it was a different take. It was an original take. They did a really good job of kind of connecting the dots in a realistic way. There was no vat of chemicals.
Listen, you can't knock Jack Nicholson's Joker.
No, and look, I don't even think Jared Leto's Joker is terrible. I think Jared Leto he gets a lot of beatings, and he's apparently really mad about the whole thing, but Jared Leto did a thing, he came up with a whole different take on the Joker, like the gangster Joker. I have no problem with that. Like, whatever. Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with all the Jokers. Look, I like fucking the Cesar Romero Joker from the
he was
Batman
a maniac
series.
too, if you really think about it.
He was, in a whole different way, and they're all different. And I don't think any of them is wrong. Nicholson he's fucking iconic. How could you have a problem with Jack Nicholson did? It was,
I mean, if you go back and watch that, he was freaking demented in that movie. I mean, he just.
Somebody said he was
demented.
He was like a performance art Joker. Like he was his work was like he was doing performance art with like
He was like American Psycho, like
yes.
when he's just killing people and just like making theater out of it.
Yeah.
They look at my CDs. Yeah.
Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was all the Jokers were good. Joker's a great villain. Batman's a great hero.
It's a great
DC. This is one of the few DC got right.
It is, and it's a great character, and it's mostly because they're not trying to explain it, and they're always really building on other things. I used to love Wolverine. Like Wolverine was my guy for the longest time. And
We're still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording. and my issue was when they started to like explain Wolverine in like really bad ways, and I'm like, I don't really need you to explain that.
I hate when they explain things that don't need explaining.
I'm cool with that. Like, why do we have to go into
mystery's
all that?
good?
Yeah, it's like leave. It's okay that we don't. It goes back to Pulp Fiction, right?
Well, when they
open up the briefcase, everybody goes, "What was in the briefcase?" And I always go, "Who fucking cares?" It's a trope. It's a
plot device.
It's a plot device. It doesn't matter what's in the briefcase. It's irrelevant. Right. The idea is they wanted to get something super important to somebody, and they did, right? And they killed people, and it was obviously extreme.
Right.
But what was in the case is fucking irrelevant.
Right. What were you saying just before that? Because it triggered something that I was going to say, and then I forgot it.
We were talking about.
No, you had just said something.
Explaining things about Wolverine.
Pulp Fiction. Like when you try and explain, like how much did it fall flat on its face? The trying to explain Darth Vader.
Yeah. Well,
or trying to explain the Force.
So somebody said something, and that was really interesting, and it played into our conversations that we've had about Star Wars. Is the problem that we have with Star Wars is the best part of the story was told first.
Exactly.
The first trilogy was the best part of the story, which is why he
started
there.
He
picked it. Yeah. And then he goes, then there's all this other shit. And as we get further away from the best part of the story, it starts to get a little thin, I read all the Dune books, and the first couple of Dune books are great.
You read them all?
I've read them all.
I haven't, the anniversary was this year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I want to go to, you want to take a Barnes & Noble trip? I have 2 books I have to get.
I go all the time. Tell me when you want to go.
Yeah.
I want to pick up. I got a card, actually. We'll get a discount.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I gotta get I may need a card, too. I got a couple of books I need to get. And one of them, I was thinking of picking up Dune, because I haven't read it.
or you can borrow my copy. I have every book. So I even have the books that his son wrote, and I read all those too.
Yeah, I heard that.
It wasn't bad, but
yeah, I mean, listen,
they never. It's it's what I worry about with George R. R. Martin and Game of Thrones is like, just finish.
At some point, you gotta run out of gas.
Please finish it.
At some point, you have to,
or you die.
You have to run out of gas.
Yeah. But yeah. So I mean, the further away from it you get, you're running out of content. And that's where we.
Yeah, and when you try to explain something that. I don't know, like there's some things that. I mean, I have to I'll watch the Joker, and how much did they explain how he becomes the Joker?
I mean, I think they explain his personality pretty well, like the idea that
you can explain someone's personality, but
but the Joker finds things funny that most people don't find funny. Right,
and he also has a condition.
Yep, and the condition contributes
which is
to
a
that.
real condition.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but now you're which is not something I'm sure was that initially canon, that condition?
No,
I don't think so. Right?
What they always contribute is he falls in the chemicals.
The chemicals
make him crazy and
it distort his face.
Yeah,
distort his face
to
create a smile.
The rictus grin. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so I'm not for overly explaining some people, but I'm thinking now of some good stories where things are explained in exquisite detail, and there is something to be said about that. Like when you a character you again, like we always talk about is a character that does something that you expect. Yeah, like you don't see it coming. They do it, and then after they do it, you go, "Oh, of course they did that." Well, and that to me is always a good character, and more often than not, if you experience that in a story, that means it's a good story.
The piece that
didn't happen with Darth Vader.
No, it didn't. They didn't.
I didn't buy Anakin slaughtering children.
Well, no, and they were trying to backfill the personality. They were even trying to make the whiny Luke personality be like Anakin was whiny. How come you won't let me be a member of the Jedi Council? And of course now we're doing the Star Wars show, but it's part of like my problem with that is it's not Hayden Christensen's fault, but he was doing what he could with what he had, which wasn't very much.
No, he really didn't have much to deal with at all.
We talk about
and having to explain the Force. Why do you have to explain the Force and say that they're midichlorians?
Yeah, but they had to have a way to identify that Anakin was something more than he was.
Why?
So what was the trope?
Why does it have to be? Why did it have to be a medical or a physical specific thing? Why couldn't it just been the Jedi sensing that this kid was something beyond what they've seen?
The problem is,
or just have Anakin do. How about the fact that he was, how old was he in Phantom Menace?
Maybe like 8 or
7 or 8 years old, and he's in that race, and he's racing with these maniacs in this thing that's going hundreds of miles an hour, and not only does he live, which is, he wins.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, okay, you showed me right there what he is, and the fact that Qui-Gon Jinn, who's freaking the mentor of Obi-Wan Kenobi, was like beside Yoda, like the ultimate Jedi, right?
Yeah.
So the ultimate Jedi's mentor senses in this 8-year-old boy something extreme, and almost drops everything, even to the point of dropping Obi-Wan Kenobi himself. Like, that's enough. I don't need midichlorian. I don't need a blood test.
But here's where I got to be careful, because we keep talking about the Star Wars show, and I have an angle on this, and you're right on the edge.
You keep holding the
angle
in your pocket.
You're gonna have to
you
do
have
it.
A Star Wars show in your pocket.
I do have a whole pocket of Star Wars that I want to talk about that I have not said out loud to anybody, because I have this idea, and it goes right around what you said about Qui-Gon, and I don't want to say it, but you're right on the edge of, why would this guy stand up for this kid? And you're right. He sensed a power in him that nobody else had. And why would they scientifically explain it? It becomes very, very lame. It's like trying to scientifically explain creationism versus dinosaurs and all this.
I hope I'm not stealing your fire here when I say this, but Qui-Gon was correct. He's the one who brings balance to the Force.
But see, that's where we can start having the conversations, though.
He is. Anakin brings balance to the Force. Because Palpatine was there all along, right? So he was this menacing.
I think you're right. Anakin brings balance to the Force.
Anakin brings balance to the Force.
He does. By what? By doing what, though?
But
what does he bring?
Luke facilitates it.
So you're saying Anakin brings balance to the Force by throwing Palpatine down the chute in return?
No, by being the only Force practitioner, let's call him, who goes from light to dark to back to light.
That's not my viewpoint of that. I have a different view on it.
That's why I took it. And what brought him and gave him the strength and the ability to do that was the love eventually of his son, which originally was his weakness, which is what created. So what created him was also his salvation, that love. And you kind of, and that's what I kind of liked a little bit. Remember I said I watched The Last Jedi again?
Yeah.
You and I can't talk without bringing up Star Wars.
No, because it's a big part of our lives. So whatever.
What I liked about The Last Jedi, and like I said, it's Rian Johnson, like I said, I feel bad for him. Initially, and I was one of the people who ragged on him big time. He really is good at what he does. He really, really is. He fucked up Luke Skywalker just too much for me. But what he was trying to say, I think, in that movie was exactly that there's the Jedi are, all the way up until that point see the Jedi in this certain light, but the flaws of the Jedi are brought apparent by Darth Vader's existence. That Darth Vader was, had this love for this woman, and it was wrong. He had this anytime, like a Jedi is not allowed to love. Mm-hmm. A Jedi is just supposed to exist. You know what I mean?
But why isn't a Jedi allowed to love?
Because it eventually brings upon weakness. And that's kind of, you kind of look at it and go, oh, that's interesting. That's a really interesting thing to think about.
No, because they're saying an emotional attachment would lend a person of that level of power to
be dangerous.
Be dangerous, yes.
And that's essentially what happens.
It is what happens.
But it's that same feeling that becomes his salvation from that. So was the ability or capacity to love a bad thing or a good thing? And Star Wars kind of does try and play with that. And Last Jedi kind of plays with that and kind of hints at the fact that Luke sees that.
Well,
but then he also is like, oh, the secret texts. And he has all these stupid moments. And then Yoda's laughing at him like, you fucking dweeb. Yeah. Like, the fucking poor bastard still isn't a Jedi. Well, it's like, well, what's sacred texts? What are you talking about?
And what I'll tell you is Yoda is probably the most pure Jedi when it comes to that.
A singular, loveless existence.
Yeah, a monk, right? It's a monk, right?
A hermit.
Yeah. Pure intellect, right? No minimal emotion, right?
No emotion. Yeah. No emotion. No emotion.
But and the irony of that is that Yoda is an alien, right? And
they're all aliens.
And humans we are creatures of emotion, right? But he is this.
Well, are they? They're not humans. It was a galaxy far, far away.
This is true, but they're humanoid. They appear like human-esque, and there are other people that don't appear human.
They're not Earthlings.
But Yoda being the perfect Jedi, he's non-human, disconnected, cerebral, embracing the Force, right? As opposed to a flawed human who wants to love and be loved and be
Right.
connected to a person.
And Yoda would beat that out of you with a stick.
He would, but he doesn't feel that, right? You don't see Yoda.
Right, which is a conflict in human nature.
Yeah.
A conflict that Darth Vader goes through.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely, and I don't disagree with anything you're saying now.
Okay.
But I'm still holding back my theory is still holding back.
We gotta have.
We will not talk about it until I refuse to talk about my theory. I have not said it out loud.
At least I did not bring up Rocky or Kurt Cobain this whole episode.
Okay. And you know what, dude? I've seen a million Kurt Cobain. You know his sweater from?
Oh, it's on sale. Unwashed
Yeah.
auction for his fucking cardigan.
And did you know that Dave Grohl cried when Weezer did a remake of Lithium?
By the way, we're going to Hella Mega Tour, me and you.
We are.
That's going to be freaking sick.
Yeah.
Green Day, Weezer.
Fall Out Boy. No, we're not Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, Fall Out Boy. I don't know. I don't think I know their songs. I'm going to have to look them up. I'm going to have to download them on Apple Music. But I'm super psyched to see Weezer and Green Day. I think those are two fantastic bands.
Yeah. No, I haven't. I've
and
seen
the Interrupters.
Both. And the Interrupters, yes. If they're ska, I love that. I'm all about it.
Yeah,
So
and they're a really good ska band.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Then. We're gonna have a good time. We have great seats, so stop your messing around.
I'm like, we're general admission.
Yeah. No, you guys are in the pit. We have like a seat.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun.
No,
I just hope that we're in Philly, right?
It's in
We're in
Philly,
Citi
yeah.
Field.
It's in Philly, yeah.
I told Lisa, I said we're not gonna have access to their stadium as general admission. Probably they're gonna give us a couple of porta johns and a freaking a keg.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Everybody else is gonna be fucking eating sausage and peppers.
And peppers.
And we're gonna be eating dirty water dogs and fucking and peeing in the dirt. She's like,
you have to grab your shit before you go down.
And it's many hours. We're gonna have to be there. You know, if we could probably get up close to see the Interrupters. Fall Out Boy. If I have it. Like I said, I have to download their music. I don't remember them, but part of me feels like I would almost want to leave and come back for Weezer.
They have a couple of good songs they did for the Baymax movie. What was that? Big Hero 5. That.
Yeah, Big Hero 6.
Yeah, Big Hero 6, 5, 6. One of those two. You know, something you should watch. We talked about that superhero show that we watched on Amazon.
Yeah, The Boys.
The Boys. The same guy that wrote a show called. Well, he wrote a comic called Preacher, which was the original kind of version of that, where you have this preacher character who essentially an angel and a demon reproduce, and they create this creature called Genesis that crashes down to Earth and inherits this preacher's body, and he has this power called the Word, where he can tell people anything and they have to do it. Like if he tells you to go fuck yourself, and he does in the comic, that you will literally go and fuck yourself. And they made a TV show, and it's the same people that created The Boys created the TV show, and the last season is going on right now, and it is fucking bonkers, like off the wall. Like, I'll tell you a piece that might make you want to watch it.
Is this Netflix, HBO? What is this?
It's on AMC.
AMC. Okay.
But basically, God has this group called the Grail that's trying to make the end of the world. And their idea, and this isn't what was in the comic, but I think it's genius. Their whole idea to instigate the end of the world is to have the New Zealanders try to blow up the Australians. And that would be the catalyst for Armageddon. And then they would put their Messiah out there.
Uh-huh.
And the Grail's Messiah is this person who is related to Jesus, but he has been inbred to such a capacity that he is mentally handicapped. Dramatically mentally handicapped. And his name is Humperdoo. And he does a soft shoe dance, and that's supposed to turn the world. It's fucking bonkers, but
that sounds like fun.
It's totally fun to watch. And the first two seasons are okay.
Uh-huh.
But in the comic, I read the comic, which makes it amazing, but the people in it are really good. And it's legitimately entertaining, but the last season, and they know it's the last season, they are fucking balls to the wall, and it's amazing. It's fucking amazing.
So I'll watch that.
I'm going to probably go watch the last 2 episodes tonight when I go home, because I'm like, I want to finish it.
Have you watched Good Omens?
I haven't watched that yet. That's next.
Have you read Good Omens?
I haven't read it either, no. But I love Terry Pratchett, so.
I haven't read anything else by him except that. Is there something? What should I read by him?
He
Because I
read,
really, I thought it's on my kids' reading list. Like I told you, I have a reading list for my kids. One of them is to read Good Omens. I think everyone should read Good Omens. It's a great book.
He wrote a series of books about the personification of like certain things like death, and I think that was Terry Pratchett. And there was like about 6 books about these gods and whatever, and their personifications in our.
Yeah, I have to. Then I'll just look them up, and just start reading, I guess.
Yeah, I'll look one up right now to give you another one.
But Good Omens is very much like, very similar to what you're describing in The Preacher. Like it's basically it's a big joke surrounding Armageddon and how they screw it up, and how, this angel of Satan and this angel of God, who have been side by side throughout all of creation, have become friends.
Yeah. Did you watch the show on Amazon?
It's the whole idea. I watched a couple episodes, and they did a pretty good job. The book obviously is always better.
David Tennant is good. Both of those guys in that.
They're
David
great
Tennant
actors.
And the other guys are amazing.
Yeah, they really play the guys really well. Though Crowley is a little over the top, a little. I don't think he needed to have like. I don't remember in the book of him having snake eyes, but in the book he was just. It was great because in the book he was just fucking super cool.
Yeah,
like the Satan was cool as fuck, which is what Satan would be, and the angel was the opposite of cool, but he's also such a good soul that you loved the both of them, through the whole book. And it's
an unlikely partnership too, because
they're opposite ends of the spectrum, and their respective bosses are idiots, which is hilarious. Like Satan is just dumb as hell, and so is God. I mean, God comes into his bookstore and he's talking. I mean, it wasn't God. It wasn't God. It was his Archangel Gabriel, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. Really, really, I think you would really, really like it.
Yeah, no,
it's good.
It's on my list, and I want to watch the show too.
I think you should read the book and then watch the show.
Okay, maybe I'll try to do that.
Well, listen to the book. That's what I did. I listened to it on Audible, and it was really well read.
Okay,
that's kind of important.
No, it's interesting too, because we all feel like. It's interesting the way that's written, because we all feel like our fucking bosses are idiots, right? He's like, he's a fucking idiot, right?
Yeah,
but the idea that it's God and Satan who are these supreme forces,
right.
And they're still fucking idiots because they're a
idiots.
Boss, right?
Yeah.
And they're managing things in that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're trying to, Satan's trying to orchestrate Armageddon, and there's, the Antichrist has to be born, and the Antichrist is born, but he gets switched up at the fucking hospital.
No, Jesus. That's funny.
So, they have this little couple who's raising Satan, and they don't even know they're raising Satan. And ironically, he's not coming up as Satan because he's not being raised as Satan, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this other kid is like a normal kid, and he's being raised completely different. So and his hellspawn, his dog, and he names him, I forget what he names him, like some fucking puppy name, like whatever. And instead of him being this vicious hellhound, he's like this little puppy. It's really it speaks to human nature and the absurdity of good and evil, and the whole. Some of the absurdities of the idea of religion, or the fact that our understanding of religion is just too elemental. It's too, we're too elementary, not elemental. It's a good book. Definitely read it.
Yeah.
Did you read *Sapiens* that I gave you?
I haven't read it yet. I know.
Oh, you gotta read that. You gotta read that book. That's not. I mean, that's a completely different topic, but that's not.
Well, I have all the Easy Pieces book in my cart too.
6 Easy Pieces,
and then 6.
That's another good book.
Not Easy Pieces,
and not 6 Not So Easy Pieces.
Yeah, so I have all that in my cart. I just haven't.
Well, that's all physics. That's all physics.
Yeah,
those two. Feynman was out of his mind.
Yeah, I'm trying to finish up a couple books, and then I'll delve into some things again a little deeper. But and I'm still reading that role playing book that I got, which I want to give to you so you can read it too. Just some interesting just exercises and thinking about things, and it's a well written book. Actually, the guy just came out with another book that I think I'm going to buy and read as well. But
what about Jerusalem? Have you read that or something?
No.
That is another. I've read. I haven't read a lot of. I've read V for Vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
I've read Watchmen.
Yep.
Those are the only two Alan
Which,
Moore.
by the way, when I've heard a lot that HBO series is coming out soon.
Yeah, it's plastered on every bus in New York,
dude. And I hear like it's really supposed to be really good, and that absolutely has to be something that we have a talking point about every week. So
okay, yeah, I'm going to watch that for sure.
Because
I'm a huge Alan Moore.
Yeah,
fan.
me too. Yeah, absolutely.
But what else has he written that I am missing?
Well, From Hell, Alan Moore wrote.
From Hell? Okay, I got to check that out.
He also wrote V for Vendetta.
Yeah, V for Vendetta I've read.
He also wrote Watchmen. He also wrote there's more. It's escaping me right now, especially because I've been drinking, but give me a second.
Jerusalem, if you start reading Jerusalem, it is so completely different from reading everything else he's ever written that you could sense Alan Moore when you're reading it, because you could see like the way he goes about things. He's very Alan Moore like, but the way he writes it is like he's like Hemingway. I mean it's this beautiful.
He wrote The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay,
then
he wrote that?
He did what was easily thought of, and we talk about the Joker. This is a good tie-in. He wrote The Killing Joke, which is the Joker origin story in a way.
Okay, so I got some more Alan Moore reading to do.
And then he did some of the best stuff around the Swamp Thing character, which was to take that character and make it like...
He wrote some of the comics, some of those Swamp Thing comics.
And then
some
Jerusalem is also here.
Jerusalem is just...
That one I think is the one Alan Moore I don't think that I've read, so I'll have to...
It reads like... you're talking about a guy who wrote graphic novels, comic books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of which went on to be movies. And then you go read Jerusalem, and it's this 1,000-page piece of pure literature.
Yeah.
Like something that you would study
it's biblical.
in a university.
Yeah.
Beyond biblical, it's like reading Moby Dick.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it, I'm like, this is Alan Moore. It's like, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
That he had this, what blows me away is that he had this in him. Like, you're like, oh wow, like almost like he was, the other stuff that he's given us was kind of toying with us. Like he's like, this is the fun, popular stuff I could write, but this is what I always wanted to write. And then you start reading that and you go, holy shit.
Yeah.
He's really, it's slow. It's methodical. It's weird at times, a lot of times, but it's, some of it like is just beautiful to listen to.
Yeah.
Just really is. Again, as someone who's a comic book reader of his, it's mind blowing to read it.
Yeah.
It's just mind blowing. It's like, well, who's this?
Yeah.
Another good thing to read. But definitely check out Good Omens, especially if you like that Preacher thing. That sounds like almost like a spinoff of the Good Omens.
Yeah, and I have the Preacher comics, so if you ever want to borrow them, I had a millennial friend of mine at work, and I'm like, read these, and it was the show was going to come out, and he read that, and then we've been watching the show together, and he's like, wow, the show really hasn't done it, but this last season, it's really like it's because like fuck it, it's the last season, we're gonna up the ante like to the fucking balls,
right?
There's just some fucking crazy, and once again, it's. What is it called? The Good Guys. What was it? The show that we watched on Amazon. The Boys.
Bad Boys.
It's The Boys, but it does it a lot better. It's a commentary on religion. It's satirical. It's critical of religion and the ridiculousness of it at times. My
problem is I don't have a lot of time to read. I do a lot of, it's all audible with me lately because it's so much, I'm in the car so long. I have like a 2-hour commute to work and a 2-hour commute back. And when I come home, I either hang out with the kids or I prep food for the week to try and eat healthy,
I hear you.
Or sleep, So I would love to borrow Dune, but I think I'm going to have to
listen to it.
I'm going to have to listen to it.
No, I feel you, dude. You're in a whole different situation. I work from home 2 days a week, and it's
you work in Jersey. You have a little bit less commute.
Yeah. No, it's a different story.
I'd love to, and so many times I've taken a book and brought it to the beach, like in the summer, with the kids, and
because you always end up filming the
happens.
football.
It never happens.
You're doing something.
Like I read a page, and I'm just like, oh, this is nice. But I get a page and a half. That's it. And the book's in the fucking backpack, and and not that I regret, putting it away. I don't, but it's this doesn't seem to work out. But Audible's been a godsend, really.
No, it's a good thing. Same thing for me for podcasts. I listen to a ton of podcasts, and it's like you're in the car, but that's where I'm listening to podcasts in the car. Then I come home, I do the kid thing, but they go to bed, so I go in the room and I'm either watching a show or watching a movie or reading a book, or when I'm home, you know what? I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna work.
How many hours of sleep do you get at night?
Between 2 and 3.
No, come on.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's probably at least 6, but.
You do manage to get 6? 6 is not healthy.
Well, sometimes
6 is not good for you.
They don't take naps and stuff.
You are a good napper.
Yeah, so
I suck at napping. Napping is, believe me, is saving your life possibly.
It
6 hours is not enough sleep.
Like right tonight, if I didn't take a nap, I wouldn't be up for this horse shit right now.
You took a nap today?
Yeah, like an hour. I'm quick naps though.
Well, no. Well, quick naps is what works. Yeah. 20 minutes.
It doesn't fuck up my sleeping if I take like 1 hour.
Right, that was it, biphasic sleep, they call it, or something. Where
and
you
even
break your sleep up a little bit.
Do you know what I'm doing when I'm napping? I put a fucking podcast on or a fucking
fall
book
asleep,
on, and I fall asleep listening to it. So even if I hear it, I'm like...
Oh. But then you have to rewind it because you fucking missed it.
I do, but sometimes I know... I'm like the familiarity is what helps me fall asleep, so I've heard it before a million times. So
they have podcasts specifically for falling.
I do, yes. And it's really weird. The guy's like, I will absolutely fucking bore your ass to sleep. I used to listen to it all the time. He's like,
I wonder if ours, what category is he under?
Sometimes I listen to us and I fall asleep. Yeah.
Maybe we should put ourselves in that sleep. Is there a sleep category?
There might be. We'll have to look at it. But yeah, we will bore you to fucking sleep.
Are we boring people right now? We should probably end this.
We should, because we're going to do the Rocky show.
Yeah,
we keep talking about that every show. You know what? I think the next show we'll do a watch along.
Any of these
Let's
shows,
do a watch along with Rocky.
A watch along with Rocky,
and then that way we're watching it and
can we watch along with Star Wars: A New Hope?
I think we do the same fucking thing. Yeah, that way I can time that fucking trench run and tell you how fucking much more.
And we could time it against what, the asteroid run?
The asteroid run, yeah. Which you're wrong. The asteroid is not that long because they cut away.
Oh no, wait, no. You're talking about flying through the asteroids? Or the whole asteroid scene.
Wait. I don't know. You brought this up, so I don't know what.
No. You told me the trench run is longer than the whole asteroid.
The trench run is longer than everything ever because it's like Tora. It's like fucking a World War II bomber fucking story over and over and over again.
Yeah, but so the asteroid run is they chase him through the asteroid, then he lands in an asteroid, then the whole. But you don't tell. Are you going to tell me like what that was such dead air? For like 10 minutes.
No, but
when they land that ship in that asteroid, there is nothing that happens. Nothing happens for 10 minutes.
There's one important thing that happens in that.
What? When they realize what it is?
No, the point of them landing in the asteroid is to give them a break in all the action so that Han and Leia can have their romantic moment. Because that's when it happens. You need a break in the action, and that's why that's created.
All right, but still, it's longer than that damn trench run.
It's not though. It's not. Even if you include them making out or almost making out on the Millennium Falcon.
Almost. They don't even. Yeah, they almost make out.
Goldenrod, that's the running joke, right? That he fucks it up. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah, but no, it's not as. It's dude that trench run, and I don't hate it. It just goes on and on and on.
It's the climax of the movie.
It is.
It's a band of band of fighters against an indestructible battle station.
But you know what I feel like?
They should have made that short.
It's impersonal.
Impersonal.
Yeah, because it's a machine against a bunch of machines, right? As opposed to...
What do you mean machines?
The Death Star versus all
what
these
about Porkins?
X-Wings. Porkins is a fucking fat piece of shit. But in Empire, and here we are doing the Star Wars show, but whatever. And my brother-in-law's like, just do the fucking show.
I know.
But
he's right.
But it's Luke Skywalker against Darth Vader. It's mano a mano. It's I'm your father. It's I'll never join you. It's that's fucking personal, dude. And Star Wars is like
it doesn't go anywhere.
A flight wing again. It does go.
It doesn't go anywhere. It does not.
He throws himself down the fucking hole.
You learn a secret. You learn something. That's the only thing you learn that's his father, and that is
it. It's 1-on-1, and I'm not going to kill you. Darth Vader could have killed him 500 times, and he doesn't kill him.
No, because he's trying to bring him to his side.
He's trying to convert him. Yes,
right. He's under orders.
That's some fucking deep psychological fucking shit, as opposed to Porkins going. That's what we get in Star Wars.
In Star Wars, you have a battle station that is minutes from destroying a planet that they have to somehow stop against all odds.
Because the rebels will be destroyed.
Right, against all odds.
Mm-hmm.
If that trench run doesn't happen, there is no Empire Strikes Back.
You're right.
All right, so,
but my point is the climax of that is like...
And then he shoots that thing into the thing, and he puts his target computer away, and Obi-Wan talks to him, and
use the Force.
He gets this whole education, this whole
Red 5. I see you've turned off your targeting computer.
He becomes what he wanted to become.
He succumbs to his destiny.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with all that.
He doesn't succumb to it. He goes and he gets it.
Luke.
And then and he comes back.
Give in.
He comes back a changed man and a hero. Whereas at the end of Empire Strikes Back, everyone is exactly where they started.
No, not everyone isn't though, because Han is nowhere. Luke is changed forever. He cut his hand off. He found out that Darth Vader's father.
Okay,
he's scarred forever. Han Solo is captured by a bounty hunter and taken to the Hutts. Leia is conflicted because she feels like she loves Han, and then she has this connection to Luke that she doesn't really understand. She feels like it's an attraction, but it's something completely different, right? So that's complicated, and that's life.
Yeah, but that's not it wasn't a story.
It is a story.
It wasn't a story. Empire Strikes Back was not a story.
It's a story. It's the continuing development of characters that we already know.
Right. It's part of the whole story.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a movie in itself. And we can end on that.
All right.
Let me get the final word.
That's it. All right.
You're in charge of.
I'm in charge of the task
of the digital recorder.
We're at 1 hour and 27 minutes.
Oh, sorry, we went a little long. Thanks for listening. DoomsdayDoopy.com. At DoomsdayDoopy at Twitter.
Yep. Nick R tweets.
That's right. And
at CJ Scannell, if you want to see nothing.
If you want, if you want to see me argue with politicians.
Yeah. And Nick, just commenting on things.
Making fun of our government.
Yep.
Other than that,
and pretty much liking everything that Donald Trump does.
Yeah. I kid. Fuck China and free Hong Kong.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Fuck Thailand. And also, Thailand. You know what? I don't know.
Thailand?
Fucking New Zealand. Fucking New Zealand. Those guys are like fucking Nazis over there.
Are they?
Do we have listeners in New Zealand?
I think. No, I don't think so.
Fuck those guys.
They don't know what they're missing.
Yeah, also, wasabi peas, bitches.